Hey, good morning all. Hey, it's Friday morning. Just decided to sit down and do a little video. I've been doing a lot of videos for our Facebook page about different products we're getting in and prices and things of that nature. It's trying to sneak in from the other side. So I thought I'd do a YouTube video, instructional, just a little helpful video about a certain product that I've been using for a few weeks now. And I had a choice of different things, but I'm going to go with the Ohm Tanks. Some of the ones we've got in stock with the Atlantis V2 at the lower end of the sub-end tanks as far as the ohms are concerned. With the Super Tank, the Atlantis, or I said the Atlantis, the Arctic, the Heracles, and things like that. A lot of people are getting into them. Sometimes might have a little bit of a problem with them. So I thought I'd do an overview real quick. The Super Tank, and this will apply as well to the Arctic and the Heracles. Still running the Tesla Invader 2 and absolutely loving it. I might do something on that sometime soon. Anyway, Super Tank. We don't have any in stock right now. I wasn't able to get any. They're hard to come by apparently from everybody that I usually buy from. But we do have the Mini coming in, which is pretty slick, which will be pretty much the same thing as the rest of them. Now, a lot of these are going to come with a 0.2 ohm coil, some with a 0.3 like the Atlantis, and some a little higher, 0.5, 0.6 in the case of the Heracles. What do you run them on? A lot of people ask that question. Should I run it on a regulated? Should I run it on an unregulated box? And this is my personal preference as far as when I'm running these devices. The 0.2 ohm coil on an unregulated box with a full battery, you're going to be running any 80, 90 watts, somewhere in that region. And that's great. These coils want 80 to 100 watts. They can perform all the way up in that region, so it makes it real nice. A great vape. A little bit warmer vape if you're into that, but it's still very, very nice. Now, I like to run a 0.2. Like here on the Super Tank, on an unregulated. I like to run it full bore. I seem to get the best vape off of it, the best flavor off of it, which is great. A 0.5 ohm coil on unregulated, you're running 27, 28 watts. It's 27.38, whatever. Not overly stellar for a coil that is looking and can run 60 to 80 watts. Case in point, we had a couple in here recently, and that pertains to the 0.2 as well. We had a couple in here recently, and he has a mech mod, and she had a iStick 50 watt, both running a Arctic with 0.2 ohm coils, and she said his tastes better. Yes, yes it will, because you're giving it the power that coil wants to be able to produce the vapor, to be able to produce that flavor. It'll still run on a 50 watt, not a problem at all, but you're going to see better flavor towards the higher end. When I run my my Super Tank, the 0.2, if I do run it on a regulated, like the IPv4, it's running 60 watts, 70 watts, somewhere in that region. Sometimes I might go a little lower depending on what I've got in there for nick and the flavor. But I find it best sitting on a mech mod, running as much as it can possibly run. The 0.5 I do like to throw on an unregulated, on a regulated box, just because I can punch up 50, 60 watts as opposed to running 30, 25 to 30 watts as far as that's concerned. And I get a better flavor sometimes I will run it a little lower, 40 to 50 watts on the 0.5, but the flavor isn't overly wonderful at that point in time. What I like to do on the Arctic, on the Heracles, is kick that airflow back one notch. Just tighten it off a little bit. You're not going to get a huge drop as far as airflow is concerned, but your flavor is going to go through the roof with that. So you're going to, lower wattage, take a nice long draw, get a good hit off of it, and you're going to get a lot more flavor off of it in that instance. And I've noticed that as well on the 0.2, if I'm running it on a device that can't run 100 watts, if it's only running 30, 40, 50 watts, I'm going to kick the airflow back a hair, and it's going to give me a lot better flavor. It's not a cloud, big cloud machine, but it is a lot better flavor off of it. Also, when you fill these up for the first time, a lot of people are going to say to choke off the airflow and suck on the mod or let it sit for 45 minutes. Yeah, man, I ain't got time to sit there and let the thing sit for 45 minutes while I stare at it, wishing I was vaping on it. What I like to do is take the coil and pop your new coil in there when it's a new coil, and I'm going to drip 5, 6, 10 drops of juice right into the coil itself, and then go ahead and fill up my tank and get her started. I like to start it on a regulated device, just to start off. If you've got a regulated device, it's great. Usually what I'll do is I'll go ahead and throw her on 10 watts and go ahead and just fire the button and just listen. Okay, now I hear juice getting into the coils. I hear the happy noises happening inside my tank. I'm good. I know that the cotton's getting wet and life is grand. I go ahead and bring it up to 20 watts. Bring it up to 20 watts and sit there, nice, long, slow draws on it. Start getting the cotton saturated, because it takes a little while. It's packed in there so well in some of these coils to get all the inside and all the cotton really, really, really saturated to a point where it's not going to burn. Bring it up to 20 watts. I'll sit there about 5 minutes and take nice long draws at 30 watts, 40 watts, 50 watts, and do the same thing. Up to 50 watts or so on a device, and then I'll go ahead and throw it on a mech. So I know after 50 watts, and I've been vaping on it for a half an hour or so, at the lower wattages, just really getting that cotton drenched, throwing it up on a mech after that, pushing up to 90 watts or so, not a problem. Super tank, love. Top fill is great. Then I can squirt and drive as opposed to dripping and driving, which is wonderful. And I've had the coils on these, doing it in that manner, last me a good at least 3 weeks. Which is pretty insane, and that's on the super tank. I'm getting a good 3 weeks out of it. And the only reason I changed the last coil after 3 weeks is because I was testing some new flavors, and I had one that was a huge miss. So, and it was just, I couldn't get the god-awful flavor off the coil, so I swapped coil out. And I've been on this one now a good week and a half or so, and just thoroughly pleased with the tank and the coils and the way they produce. So again, yeah, just throwing this together, maybe some ideas for some folks. I am getting some people telling me they're getting burnt coils, I got a bad batch and this and that. Sometimes I think it's a little more of the way that the coil is being used, or the tank itself is being used, as opposed to bad coils. Another thing you want to watch out for is really underpowering these. If you underpower them, you're drawing in more liquid to the coils than you are burning off, and that can tend to be an issue. On some tanks, you're going to get it leaking out the air holes because you've got an excess of juice buildup in there, and you're going to get some leakage happening. Crank the wattage up. If you don't want any more than 15 watts on a coil, probably should do a coil or a tank or a build that can handle 15 watts properly and wants that kind of power. 100-watt coil, it's not going to work. Also, dry hits. Underpowering can produce dry hits on these tanks just as much as overpowering it. So you put a fresh coil in, you've done no prep work on it whatsoever, you crank her up to 100 watts. Yeah, it's gonna be cotton flavored juice at that point in time, burnt cotton flavored juice, and that's a whole lot of fun. So yeah, you want to watch out, make sure that you're doing and using the right tools for the right job, but making sure that everything is set up in a proper way as far as the way the tank performs and what she does, to make sure that you get the best flavor, the best vapor production, the longest life out of your coils, and yeah, and happy vaping. So yeah. The curse of dead batteries, gotta love it. Anyway, yeah, right tool for the right job. Try some of those ideas out, and if you're having some problems with some of these tanks and you're not getting the production off of them, the flavor off of them, what they're supposed to do off of them, try some of these little tricks, some of these little hints, and you're gonna be a lot happier with your tank, and you're gonna be a lot more everything, the flavor and everything is just gonna be a lot better. So enjoy, happy vaping, have a great day Friday. Thank you.